Welcome. First I want to ask everyone to please subscribe, and that way we can get more subscribers, share the channel. I would love to get it out to more people who are like-minded, interested in this type of thing. What I like to focus on is mostly ministering, some of the gospel I throw in, rambling sometimes. You will learn that with me. I have a good train of thought, and then I get totally derailed. Also, sometimes I say things that I mean one way, and they come out. People perceive them differently than I meant, so I pre-apologize for that. I do not want to offend or hurt anyone. Please just understand that sometimes I mean well, and maybe it didn't come off as such. Mostly I like to focus on ministering, though, because I feel like it is extremely important, and I feel like we lack as members of the church. I feel like we really lack in our ministering efforts, for the most part. I'm sure there are some out there that are just amazing. This is not meant to hurt anybody, but I have not had ministers in a long time, at least 10 years. I don't even know who my ministers are, actually. The last time I knew who my ministers were, it's because I went to Member Tools and looked, and it ended up being a lady that I see all of the time, and I even try to say hi to her sometimes, and she snubs me. Very different person. Very different person. And then I had a minister that was a super good friend. Just love her to pieces. Sweetheart, but I had no idea she was my minister. I don't even know if she knew. But I myself am not great at it. And so that's why a few years back I really had a really strong prompting to start this channel, but I had no idea how. I didn't know what it entailed. Still don't really, so as you can tell, I'm wobbly with my phone. I'm not comfortable enough to put myself on the phone yet, so you'll get lots of different pictures or scenes. But I don't know if this is to help me, if it's to help me and others, but I really had a strong feeling a few years back to start it, and I put it off for a couple of years, and then I finally gave in and posted one or two things, and then I stopped, and I'm trying to do better. I really am. So here we are. But if you would please share it so that it can get out to more people who kind of are in the same boat, you know. How do we minister? What do we do? Ministering, it technically should be so simple. It should be something that comes naturally every single day of our life. Unfortunately, it does not, and that's really hard. So I hope with this channel, I hope to change that, maybe change the mindset, maybe help people come up with different ideas and things. Please share ideas in the comments. I would love to hear how you feel ministering helps you, or how you do well at it. You know, if you do well at it, how do you do that? Some of us it comes naturally, some of us it's very, very hard. I'm one it's very, very hard. I feel like I impose on people. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like it's a bother to some people. Some people, I think it is a bother to them. Some people, I think we just perceive that it's a bother to them. But some people, I feel it is a bother. They don't like it. That's something we need to change too. If we're the ones being ministered to, we need to be more open and accepting of it, because it is a calling from the Lord. I was reading a thing yesterday and on Facebook, and they were talking about, you know, why do we even have to do ministering? And even though I'm not great at ministering, I honestly understand why we have to do it. It's a huge thing. See, I'm wandering. Sorry. With my picture. I really do understand it. It is extremely important. It is part of becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ. It's literally following in his footsteps. He ministered every day of his life. And we're to become more like him. And yet we don't understand ministering and why we even have to do it. And some of the comments were so sad. Some were saying, and if this was you, please do not take offense to it. But I did find it sad that they were literally saying things like, well, I don't think we should even be assigned people. We need to just check on the ladies in the ward, and then we can, if we check on them, then we know that everyone's being checked on, and we can just check on who we want to. Well, that's not going to work, because then the same ladies who are favorited by everybody is going to be checked on multiple times, and the women who, I'm just going to say it like me, are never going to be checked on. They're never going to be cared about. And I'm fine with that. But some aren't. Some need it. And so, okay, I know a really sweet lady in our ward. She is a sweetheart. She would do for anybody, anything, and does secretly. I talked about her a little bit yesterday. She would never be checked on. If it was that way, nobody would check on her. We can't just, that would not work. That just would not work. That idea was just mind-boggling to me. I've heard people say, well, I don't know why we have to minister to the less active. Why can't we only minister to the active? Or I don't know why we have to minister to the ones who aren't even members. Because that's kind of the point of ministering, right? The less active, and I know I got in a lot of trouble for saying this, and I do not mean it to be offensive at all, because I got told, well, the active need it just as bad as the less active. Yes, they do, to a point, but sometimes those less active need it more because they don't have that support at church. They don't feel comfortable at church for some reason. So if they have somebody that they feel actually does care about them, that's going to help. I heard I'm always telling my son, it's the planting of the seed. He's on a mission. And I'm always telling him, it's not about the baptisms, buddy. It's about the planting of the seed. Then the other day, a lady got up and bore her testimony. And she literally said that. She said, if it wasn't for my ministers who kept planting that seed, I would not be here today. She says, because I was the one that pushed the ministers away. I was the one that pushed the church away. I didn't want anything to do with the church. I wanted the ministers to leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And she says, but thankfully I had ministers that were like, no, we're not going to leave you alone. We're going to be your friend, and we're going to keep talking to you about the gospel, and we're going to keep coming over and helping you when you need help. And this is coming from somebody, this is not me saying this is somebody who was inactive. And she says they just kept pushing. They weren't pushy, gospel pushy, but they were loving pushing. They were loving ministers. And she says, and it turned me around. And it was that planting of the seed is so important. So that's why we minister to the less active. And sometimes we're even assigned to non-members, is because it's the planting of the seed. It's letting somebody know that they are truly loved when they don't feel loved. It's important. Ministering is so important. I don't even understand the mindset of thinking that it's not important, but believing our gospel. Because ministering is literally the foundation of our gospel. So if we believe the gospel, then we believe in ministering. Some of them were saying, well, I don't even know how to minister. I liked visiting teaching because visiting teaching was, we had a set way that you're supposed to do it. Well, technically there's no difference in ministering and visiting teaching. They just changed the name and the fact that there was a set lesson. You still should do a scripture every now and then, or a lesson every now and then. I like to, see, I jumped, sorry, but I like to have my ministering families fill out. I have a little, not to do a plug, but I'm going to, on Sisters of Zion Etsy shop. That's mine also. And I have little get to know you packets on there. And I have them super cheap. They're like $1.50 or $1.99. I can't remember, depending on which one you get. I think I have one at $1.50 and one at $1.99. But you can make your own up too. But I have little downloads on there that you can download the get to know yous. And it just has simple things on it like, you know, their likes, their interests, their hobbies, birthday, favorite foods, favorite snacks. This gives you, and then I give one to them for each person in their family and ask them to fill it out so that I can kind of get to know their family a little bit better. So that when they do have some need that comes up, you know what their likes are. You know, okay, they're not feeling well, or they've had a stressful day or a stressful week or whatever. Maybe you feel like taking them a treat. Well, do they like cake? Do they like pie? Do they like cookies? Would they rather a candy bar? You can go to that, and if they're like on their favorite snack, they've got their favorite food, it really does help. It really does. It just helps you get to know them a little bit better so that you can kind of personalize your visits and your experiences with them a little bit better to make them feel like you actually do know them a little bit better. And that's kind of what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to get to know them, and we're trying to be there for them, and we're trying to help them. And what makes you feel more loved than knowing somebody actually knows your interests and your likes instead of, okay, I have a sister who absolutely hates mint and chocolate mixed. Who hates mint and chocolate mixed? I love mint and chocolate mixed. Delicious. But she hates it. Well, how much better would it make her feel if somebody brought her favorite snack instead of, I don't know, mint and chocolate ice cream, you know? If she got mint and chocolate ice cream, she's kind of going to be like, okay, yeah, whatever, you don't even know me. But if she got her favorite, then, which I don't know what her favorite is, I just know what she doesn't like, then that would make her feel a little bit better, right? Okay, say it's Reese's Peanut Butter Cup, and they bring her a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. That's going to make her feel a little bit more loved and cared about than if she got mint chocolate ice cream. I hope you get where I'm going from this. See, this is my rambling stage. Anyways, so those little get to know yous, you can make your own, but honestly, they're so helpful. I really find them helpful. I have allergies on there. I have their dislikes on there so that I'm not bringing them. I have a family that's gluten-free, and I found, they've got two of their kids are gluten-free, and one of the parents. And so I know, look, if I'm going to bring a treat, it's got to be a gluten-free treat so that those other kids can eat it, So, do a little get to know you. It really does help. And then, if you really don't know how to minister, read the Bible. Read the New Testament. There you go. That's how you minister. You go and you help. It's the same as visiting teaching. It's just a different name. I like to do goofy little things, and I'll post some randomly on here. But, like for conference, I do my general conference packets. I think that that's fun. I hope that it helps them. I actually had a couple of people ask for my general conference packets this year, so I know some people do like them. Again, those can be found on Sisters of Zion Etsy page, and all of my stuff that is on there, I really try to keep the prices as low as possible, and all of the downloads are unlimited downloads. So you buy it once, and you can print off what you need for your ministering families, what you need for your own family, all those kinds of things. So, or make your own. It works that way too. Get ideas and make your own. But getting to know yous, I cannot tell you how amazing they have helped me with ministering. And then just, ministering's not complicated. It doesn't have to be that you go over and you give a lesson. Send them a little video or snippet from a talk or scripture through text, check on it. I had a really good idea that just came to me and it just left. Let me see if I can think of what it was. Darn it, I hate it when that happens. Anyways, send them those little snippets from the talks. They have the little general conference talks. I put a lot of it in my shorts. And any of the shorts I do, it's either I did them, you're more than welcome to use them, or Brother, by the way, I think his name is, I think that's his name on TikTok. Whatever, on the shorts, if I've shared somebody else's short, it will have their name on it, and I have gotten permission from them to share it. I don't just go and share it without permission. I have gotten permission. So make sure that you, don't worry about that, because I have gotten permission. So you're more than welcome to use any of the shorts to send to your ministering families, or go on and make your own, super easy, super fun. And just send them one of them randomly once a month or once a week. Also on the get to know yous, I like to ask, do you prefer lessons, or would you prefer just a short drop-in? Do you prefer text? Do you prefer phone call? Do you prefer in person? Ask them all these kind of things on your get to know yous, so that I have one lady that in the summertime, she's just so busy, she doesn't really prefer you to come by. But I still try to check on her. Like I say, I'm not great, and I think this is mostly for me so that I can learn how to be better. But still try to check on them, even if they don't want in-persons. Send in their scripture and check, make sure there's no needs or anything that you want or that you need to help them with. See, I say things wrong. Gotta forgive me. Anyways, hopefully this helps somebody. The main focus of this one was do the get to know yous, so that you can get to know your people better, and then you have that to fall back on, and just realize that it doesn't have to be an elaborate lesson. It can be a simple drop-in. Here's a flower for spring. Tape a little scripture on it. And how's your family doing? Or it can be a simple send in a scripture through text. And how's your family doing? Is there anything we can do for you? Find out what they prefer too, because some of them like in-person visits. And so if they like the in-person visit, then you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone and your busy life and give that in-person visit to them. 30 minutes once a month is not going to hurt you. You've definitely got time to do that somewhere. This is a huge step out of our comfort zone for most of us nowadays. In the olden days, it wasn't. It was easy. It came easy because we just dropped in on people. Nowadays, it is a step out of our comfort zone, and we're going to have to learn to do that. Okay, remember, share, subscribe. Thank you so much.